Okay,
Yes.
well, Namdi, so happy to have you here. Thanks for being with us
Yay.
on
I'm excited.
Yeah, thanks for being with us on the kweliTV podcast.
Definitely. Sure.
This is just a time to learn about you, not
Mm-hmm.
just as a filmmaker, as a person, just who you are, and just
Mm-hmm.
have people get to know you, and especially like just your connection to kweliTV.
Yeah.
And so we're so happy, obviously, to have you.
Oh
So
yeah,
thank you
I'm
so much for
excited. Thank
making,
you guys so much.
yeah,
Definitely for sure.
thanks for taking the time to
Yeah.
speak
Oh,
with me today.
definitely.
Um,
Definitely for sure.
Yeah, so we can get started.
Okay.
So first things first, can you please introduce yourself, where you're dialing in from and the type of work that you've done, and how long you've been with Quelly TV?
Hello everyone. My name is Nnamdi Kanaga, and I'm an independent filmmaker based in Montana. The work that I do is I mostly make films that centered about around Black lives in Montana, and how the connection between Black people and Montana and wherever it is that they come from. Being a Nigerian filmmaker myself, who's been in Montana for like 8 years, so that's what I do basically. I want to like promote and highlight voices of Black people in Montana, because we are there. Lots of Black people there, and Montana history is also rooted in like Black history. So many people don't know this,
Mm.
but it's so many Black people who have like built Montana state, and because of like the demographics of people that are there right now and the stories that are being made there, oftentimes it gets lost. So what I do is I want to like just tell real stories. Sometimes when you think about Montana, you think about horses and mountains and stuff like that, but there are real people and real stories that exist in Montana, and I want to be one of those people that would help promote. I am the first Black filmmaker to make a film with an all Black lead cast in Montana,
Mm-hmm.
which the film is also a film that is housed in kweliTV. So, I've been with kweliTV for I would say, I think going on 22, 23, 24, 25, like 4 years now, 4 to 5 years now.
Okay.
And I've been with them, and it's been an amazing experience. Just being able to have my film in a Black-owned network. People reaching out to me like, "Hey, I saw your movie on this on kweliTV," and it's really exciting to have that experience. So yeah,
That's great. I love that. You literally already touched upon a few things that we're going to
I
be
did.
talking
Oh
about.
my, I,
Like,
I talk a
no,
lot. I know.
no, I love that though. I love that. Because like we're so happy, like I said, to have you, and I'm so glad that you've been with Quelly TV. And
Yeah,
honestly, like I will be super transparent. Like when I'm thinking of also Montana, it is the things that you
I know.
said. And I
I know.
never think,
I know.
yeah, and I don't know what it is. I think it's because that's literally like just based on like the perception of like what I
Yeah.
see maybe
Yeah.
or what is spoken about,
Mhm.
whether it's on TV or
Mhm.
just with other
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Like I live in Texas and like, them, it's kind of like a mix. Like
Yes.
most people you can understand like Houston,
Mhm.
Austin, but
Yeah.
like Montana, that's very
Oh yeah.
interesting.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, like
definitely for sure. Definitely. I mean, many times when I like come to like places that are more diverse, and I'm talking to people and they're like, "Oh, where you from?" I'm like, "Oh, I live in Montana." They're like, "Montana? Where is that? Is that in Canada or in the I'm like, "It's in the US. It's very close to like the Dakotas and Wyoming." I'm like, and
mhm.
then when we get past that, the next thing they're going to ask is, "Why are you in Montana? What are you doing? Are there
Yeah.
black people in Montana?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course. There's black people, Africans, in Montana." So yeah, and like you said, because of like the demographics of like people that are there, sometimes I mean one of the biggest shows to come out of Montana is Yellowstone, and it's pretty
Yeah.
much like stereotypical like horses and ranches. I don't even know if there are black
White.
actors there. I don't even know if
Yeah.
there's black actors there. I know I
Yeah.
was once an extra, like a back. I did background for one of the episodes, and that was
Oh,
it.
cool.
There's no like lead black people there
Yeah.
because demographics is for white people. So it makes
Mm.
sense, that's like the what anybody who hears Montana, that's the first thing that comes to your mind. So it makes total sense. But like I said, what I'm trying to do is, okay, this is what we have here, but there's also this, and this. here, not only this part. That's what I try to do with my films and
That's
stories. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And honestly, I love that. I'm so glad that, you were able to do that. And like I definitely cannot wait to like keep talking about it for sure. And so you were born and raised in Lagos, right? And then that's when you moved to later you moved to Montana.
Hmm.
That's like a really large
I
shift,
I
like
just.
I'm Guinean and my whole family has like they migrated to New York, and
Mhm,
I know how big of a shift that was for them.
mhm,
What was
mhm.
that transition like for you, like creatively, personally?
That's a very interesting question. Sometimes I really don't think about it. Like I don't like think about that move. Um, but I know one thing for sure is I like to call it a paradigm shift. I don't know why I just use that word. That's that phrase, paradigm shift. But it makes sense to me that it's a paradigm shift. Um, if you asked me, say 9, 10 years ago, if I would ever
Hmm.
be in the US, I would look at you and be like, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about." Um,
Mm,
yeah. So I think I'm gonna take it back a little, and then I'll explain. I'll talk about like what you asked. I think the very first time that I ever started to spiritually set myself up to move was in 2012. 2012, I was still in college, and it was the first time I had ever seen the Oscars, and it was Lupita when Lupita won for like best supporting actress, something like that. And I for the first time I saw the Oscars, and I'm seeing this dark skinned African lady winning an Oscar. I was like, oh my God,
mm-hmm,
I want to win an
mm-hmm.
Oscar. I want to win my roommates were all there. I was like, I'm gonna win an Oscar. I will win an Oscar. And then I had no idea I was gonna move. This was like 2012. So all I know was I'm gonna win an Oscar. I never asked myself, okay, how are you gonna win an Oscar? Like Oscars are won in America and you're in Nigeria, Lagos. How you gonna
Mm,
win an Oscar? But that was just like I made that statement in 2012, right? Then fast forward in 2015, I had applied for this film program. There's this the biggest film festival in Africa is in Lagos. It's called the Africa International Film Festival, and you should
yeah.
every year when they do the festival, of course, they have like they always have this program where they train people from all over the country, all over the world, actually, all over the continent, to be precise, in acting, production management, script writing, and directing. So I had applied for acting and I got into the class. And what they do is, once the program is over, they pick like 25 students across each class and then send them to the US for like further training. So luckily for me, I was one of the 20 that was selected to go to America for
Mm.
a documentary film course. So we all, oh, America, America, I thought it was going to be like maybe New York, Atlanta, LA,
Yeah.
one of the big film hubs. And then 2016 comes, July, June. We get into the plane from Nigeria. We're flying to New York. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're in America, New York. And the chaperone is like, we have like 2 flights more before we get to our final destination. I was like, where are we going? I was like, okay, no problem. We're in America, America, right? No problem, America. Let's go. We're in
Yeah.
the US, we're in the US. 3 flights later, we land into this airport that looks like a museum. Everybody's all white people everywhere, and we're just like 20 black people from Africa, from Ghana, Nigeria, and one other African country, and we're in this airport. And I'm just like, where is this place? It was
Yeah.
just weird. We go into and then they tell us, oh, welcome to Bozeman, Montana. Montana, where is like? I go to my Google, like, where is this place? And then anyway, fast forward, a few months after we had the program, it was all good. I don't know, I was just drawn to this place, and then I
Mm-hmm.
come back to Nigeria and I'm like, I'm not gonna stay here for more than 1 year.
Mm.
I'm leaving this place back to Montana. They were like, how?
Back
I
to
don't know how I'm gonna
Montana.
do it, but I'm gonna leave.
Yeah.
I start to like apply for like grad school all over the country. I applied to Montana State University. I get it instantly. I'm here. They give me a scholarship. I come. I do the program. I ended up teaching for 3 years, and then I start to make films. So that's like how I. That's like my move,
Mhm.
my paradigm shift. You know, to the and for me, it was more like again I would say like a spiritual awakening for me because I don't think it was this is how I see it. I see it more like it's a spiritual awakening again, like I said. Something that I had manifested years back
Yeah.
by saying I want to win an Oscar. I still stand to this very everybody who knows me, they know me, I always say it. I'm gonna win an Oscar. I don't know how it's gonna happen. You guys are gonna be here and you're gonna see me.
Manifest. Manifest. I
Period.
love it.
I'm gonna be there on that stage, not because I
Mhm.
want to be validated by anybody, but because I want it. And if I want something, I can get it. So
Yeah.
I want that Oscar for myself. Not
Yeah.
for any reason, but for myself. So I'm gonna get it. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but I'm gonna get it. So I keep on saying this every time. Everybody hears me say this every time. So I said this in 2012, and without knowing how that was gonna happen, how I'm gonna end up
Mm.
here. And then next thing I'm seeing myself, I never thought about grad school ever. When I was done with school, my plan was to get into film in Nigeria, make films, get into the industry and make films and all that. I never thought about grad school. Never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Boom! I go into this program. I get a scholarship. I go for this thing. I'm back in Nigeria. Suddenly, I know what grad school is. Suddenly, I want to go back to America for grad school, and I'm here. So for me, it's been like I'm big on God, and for
Mm.
me, it's like I feel like God is working in my life, and
Mm.
I probably don't even know exactly what's happening, right, with my path. All I know is I'm walking on a path that has been destined for me. I probably just said it as a confirmation. When an adage that is said in my I'm Igbo, so something we say in Igbo. They say "Onye kwe, chia kwe." It means anyone who agrees their God will agree. So I had
Mm.
said that thing a couple of years ago, and then God is like, okay, you know what? You've said it, let's go, and that's it. So for me, it's like it's very, very much spiritual. Everybody who came for the program with me in 2016 all left to other part of the world. I'm the only one who stayed back in Montana making
Mm.
films. So for me, it's been spiritual. Just to in a nutshell, I would say it's been a very spiritual journey for me. I wouldn't accord this to anything else than spiritual, than God just working in my life. I could have been anywhere else. I could have been in Nigeria, but
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm in Montana doing work. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I would call it for me.
What it's so funny when you mentioned like when you first landed. I thought that
Mhm.
was really funny.
Yeah,
And that's really great. I love that you have this whole like beginning journey of like how you
Mhm.
kind of tell the story. And
Yeah.
like what was there anything else that like surprised you about yourself like during that specific adjustment? Like in between literally going from being on this plane and being back in Nigeria to like landing and you know deciding obviously to stay and that's where you wanted to be. Like, what was it that really fully drew you? If there was like one word that you'd use to describe.
That drew me to Montana.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I would say spiritual. Because the
Mm.
thing is, Montana is not a place that you just go and you would want to, like, I mean, it's a place that you go and want to stay because it's beautiful, it's serene, it's peaceful. But, like,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing happening there. Like, for people like me who's an artist and a
That's why I'm
filmmaker,
wondering.
yes, and also Nigerian, someone who is
Mm-hmm.
very much into like fun and vibes and community and stuff like that. There's nothing really that like keeps you back, in this
Mm.
place. But so for me, I see it as like I'm meant to do something there because I'm always going back. Even when I'm in Atlanta right now. I mean, I have friends and community. I'm close to like things I want to do, but I still go back to make films, to make projects, to do stuff. Because I just feel like there's something I'm supposed to do there, and until I'm
Mm-hmm.
done with what I'm doing there, I would always go back there.
Right.
So for
Right.
me, it's beyond physical. It's beyond normal. It's very much spiritual, for me. And it's not even about like I wouldn't even say it's the place or the or the nature or the environment. No, it's more that thing that I can't even place my fingers on. It's like I don't
Mhm.
see it. I know it. I It's not tangible, but I know, and it keeps drawing me back there. So that's it. It's very spiritual. It's very metaphysical. It's not normal. It's not usual. It's not something I can place my hands on, but it's something. I just don't know what it is that draws me back
Mhm.
there every time. Yeah.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
I totally get that. I
Yeah.
love that. I totally get it. Cuz like it's not even a place I also ever think of, but
Yeah.
I don't know, the way you're talking about it, I'm like,
Mhm.
is there something there for all of us? Like
I mean,
maybe
hey, yeah, hello, hello,
yeah.
yeah.
No, but I like that you use it more like that's kind of a space that you've now established for yourself is like where you need to really finish or
Mhm.
have like continue your passions in.
Mhm.
And I was even and just going backwards a little bit, like what first pulled you toward filmmaking like back in Nigeria? Was that like where you started? Was there a moment for you where you kind of realized like this is the path I really want to be on?
Yeah. Um I really like this question because it gives me a chance to like really look back and like think. I
Mhm.
really don't think about that many times. Um I would say for me, I think storytelling has always been innate to me. Um I probably did not realize, that that's what I'm supposed to do, but I've always been this way. I recall. Now it's really coming to me. um I recall my very first encounter with everything I do right now. Honestly, has always been like happenstance. It's not like I started, something triggered it and it became. Now, acting was always my first love, still is.
Mhm.
I'm just hoping to get the right. I'm not like desperate, but I just know that when I get a good role, it's gonna come to me. I'm gonna get it. But acting has always been my first love. So I remember when I was in elementary school back in Nigeria. I was very academic. I was the book person. I was always like focus on my academics and stuff. So, but I knew that I had something in me. I was very dramatic. Everybody who knows me knows I'm very dramatic. I am over the top, like crazy. Um, so I remember I was leaving my classroom. I was just walking down the road. I don't know, one of the classes. I was hearing people making noise, and I go in and I peep into the room, and they were just performing. They were doing something. They were acting, doing the play. And I saw the drama teacher yelling at one of the actors, like, "You can't do this. You're not doing this right. You're not doing this right." And I'm like, "Excuse me, I think I can do it." And I was like, "Who is this? Who is this one?" You know how Nigerians are. Who is this one?
What is
She,
this
she
one?
gave me she gave me that eye of like, "Excuse me, who are you?"
Yeah.
But I was like, "I can do it." And she's like, "Okay, no problem." And then she tells the boy to move aside and tell me, "Okay, this guy is a thief and you're a police. You're trying to arrest him. Arrest him." And then I'm like, "Stop there!" And I just like dive in, like I just fall, fall into the ground. Everyone's like, "Yo!" And they're like, "Woo!" I was like, "Oh, okay." I got the part. In there,
Oh.
right there, I got the part. Right there.
Yeah, I
And
love that.
that's how I did that part. I was very small, very elementary, very tiny like this. So that was how
Oh.
I got that part. And then from that moment, that thing just like
Mhm.
hit me, and I'm like, okay, I think I like acting. I like to play. I like to perform. Then I take it to church. I was a church celebrity. Like I was in every single drama in my church. Everybody in my church knows me. They knew from when I was a child to like when I became, a young adult, in college and stuff. I was acting in every single church play. I was performing. It became, and then I go to secondary school. Oh my gosh, it was helpless. I couldn't even help myself. Like I was
Aw.
everywhere. There's no play that you would do that you not see Namdi dancing. I was dancing. I was doing plays and everything. And then I had a bunkmate, my senior, who's my senior. We call them seniors. Was my bunkmate. He wrote plays on paper. Every time you see him writing plays, and I saw him writing plays, I'm like, I can write plays too now. The next thing, I'm writing plays too. That's how I started writing. And when he left
You're very
school,
multifaceted then.
when I tell you that everything that I do, just I just needed something to just trigger me, and that's it.
Mhm.
So I see him writing
Mm.
plays, and he will write the plays in a way that he would draw. Like when you get a novel, the novel has like the cover and everything. Or he
Mhm.
would use the pen to literally draw the cover of the novel and paint with colors and everything, and then write the book. So
Yeah.
it's like a book, but with paper and pen, handwritten. And then he would give people to read and everything. So I was like, he became our our local novelist, for people to read whatever. So when I saw him, and I wanted to do what he was doing, I wanted to do exactly what he was doing. So I would go, I would take papers and I would put them together and I would draw and I would write my own plays and everything. So when he left school, I took over. I started writing and writing and writing. Let me even make you this funny. Like my production, my company, my production company right now, the name I
Mhm.
use right now is the name that I used to write on those novels I wrote when I was in secondary school. Like Nakwidia
Oh.
Productions presents, and I'll write the book. When I wanted to form a company, I just sat down and like, what would I name this thing? And that was the first thing I was like, oh my gosh. So my classmates who see my movies now, when they see that, they're like, oh my, that was your name. I was like, so that's what I was doing. I said that's how I started writing, and that led me to write the first ever in the history of my secondary school, the first ever published novel. It was through
Mhm.
me and my friends, and that was how I started writing. And then I went into college, studied theater arts, and I did plays on stage, and I wrote stage plays and everything. I came to Montana, and I wanted to act, and typical story, came in, and it was not, it was very difficult to act because they were not writing films for people like me, and then
Mm.
I got to
Mm.
an audition, and I was very happy to have auditioned. And they were like, "Oh my gosh, you did so well! You're gonna get the part." I'm like, "Okay, cool, perfect." I was excited, and then I never heard back from them after like 2 weeks or something like that. And I'm like, "Well, okay, well, I at least I got the part, and I did
Mhm.
well. Maybe something happened, and and then I see the director like 3 weeks after in the bus station, and then he's like, "Oh hi," I'm like, I didn't hear from you again. What happened?" He's like, "I'm not even kidding you," and he's like, we had to, we didn't know what to do, and I see him like trying to like figure out what to say, and then he's like,
Mm. Mhm.
because of your skin color, and I was like,
What?
my skin color. That was the first time I ever experienced. I didn't know what racism was. Well, I had no idea. That was my first time. I didn't know what those things were, because there were no black people in Montana to like, put you through and let you know. There was a BSU, but hadn't joined yet. I didn't know anything about that yet. So when he told
Can
me
I
that thing,
ask, wait, when was that? Like
that
what
was in
year was that?
2018,
Okay.
October 2018.
Cuz I'm
Yeah.
just like that could not pass today.
Yeah,
I feel like at this point.
October
Mhm.
2018. I would never forget that. And then when that
Yeah.
happened, I was just like, I was very shocked to have for someone to tell me that my skin color is what would deprive me from. I'm like, I grew up in a place where everybody's black. How is
Mhm.
But anyway, when that happened, I was just like, you know what? I am never going to wait for anybody to give me a role in this place. I will
Mhm.
write my own thing and cast myself. That was how I started making films in Montana. That
Yeah.
experience, I went the next day, went register a company, an LLC, and that was how I made the Hail Mary from that incident. So it's just safe to say, like every single thing that I've done was based after a trigger,
Yeah.
either a positive or a negative trigger. Something just triggered me and released what already existed inside of me that I probably did not even know about. So that's how I came to to start making films professionally. That's my professional story. For filmmaking was through that experience I had in Montana when I was in school. Um, and that was my directorial debut, obviously, my first ever professional production. Even though back in Nigeria I already like made like small films here and there based off like
Mhm.
from school, from off of college, but coming to America and just like having that experience, like and then I watched. I think I watched. What actually made me decide to even want to make Hail Mary was I had joined the BSU, and then for Black History Month, we screened Selma by Ava DuVernay.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
when I watched that film and I left that theater, I was like, F it. I'm going to make my film. I don't even care what anybody tells me. I am going to make a film.
Yes.
And I made
Yeah.
that film, and it became the first ever film made in Montana by with an all black lead cast. So yeah, so it's been interesting just to look back and realize that something had to happen to me, trigger me, pull me to remind me of what I have that I probably did not know about, and then just made me, go for it. I didn't even need to do it. I just went straight for the gun, and that's how I started, making films professionally.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, like that's amazing. Like I think it's so interesting that like you use certain things like whether like you said like negative or positive experiences
Yeah,
to spark. Like it literally
yeah,
sounds like those were your sparks. Like it's
yeah,
like the moment you realize something you're like, "No, I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to
yeah,
do this. I'm going to do."
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I feel like that is such a way to actually like take on all these experiences
Hmm.
together. Like I feel like it kind of becomes your own genetic makeup of
Hmm.
like who you are as like a story, not just a storyteller, but just as a creative in
Yes,
general, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Um, and I think that's really great. I'm wondering like if that, with that experience, like, cause I feel like you touched upon this a lot, but like how did that, like, because obviously being in Montana, it kind of
Mhm.
shaped, I think, the stories or the story that you wanted to tell.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like it was kind of based on your own experiences,
Hmm.
like in that
Hmm.
moment, and then just
Hmm.
seeing the whole disparity between the black and white
Hmm.
representation that you were seeing as
Hmm.
well in Montana. Um, and that makes a lot of sense
Yeah.
because,
I
you
mean,
know,
yeah, and even to add to that, like like on a to be very honest, like
mm-hmm,
Montana is pretty, like, compared to like places that I've been to, it's
mm-hmm,
pretty like chill. Like there
mm-hmm,
are microaggressions
right.
here and there, like a lot of it. For some people intentionally, some people
Mm,
unintentionally, but it's there. And for me, I don't know if this director that said that thing to me, if at that moment, like, I really can't tell. I can't figure out if I would say it was an unintentional or intentional act for me.
mm, mm-hmm,
That wasn't the crux of it for me. At that moment, I was just like shocked at, like, why would this be a problem? Why would this not allow me, get a part? So it wasn't about, like, so that I didn't really care so much about, like, who the person is, but was
right.
like, why would that be a problem?
That shouldn't be a
That
reason.
shouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because I mean, if you cast me, it shouldn't be a problem. So, and that was like, what, I'm gonna make films, and then see, this is what I told myself: I'm gonna make films that would highlight people like me, so that other filmmakers here would know that there are
Mm,
people like me in this space, and it will
yeah.
force them to tell stories that includes people like me. That was my
Yep.
goal. I didn't care about black, white. That was my problem. I wanted people to know that we exist in this space.
Mhm.
And when I make my films, I don't care who is here. All I know is I'm making a film about black experience here, devoid of racism, colorism. That those doesn't. I don't, that's not. I don't. I'm not gonna give power to those things. I'm
Hmm.
giving power to the voices of the people that I hear. So I don't
Yeah.
really care about. My focus is they are here, and you would write stories about them.
Yep.
And surprisingly, it worked because I had never gone to audition for a role that I got it. The next year, 2019, I went to an audition. Before I went there, I emailed the director. I said, "Hey, just so you know, I'm black,
Mm,
and I don't want to come to your audition and end up not being cast because of my skin color. So please let me know. Can I audition?" And she was like, "Yes, why not? Come." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And I go there, not having anything in mind, because I'm like, well, if I go there, whatever, it's fine. And I went there, and I do the part, and after like a week or two after, they called me and they gave me the part. And I asked, I
oh,
was like,
great.
did you give me this part because I had told you via my email, or did I really earn this part? And she was like, "To be honest with you, you were the best among everybody that auditioned." I'm like, "Okay, cool, perfect." And I realized that she was being honest, because the next year she calls me and she tells me, "I'm writing this historical film about Mary Todd Lincoln, and I want to
Mm,
bring in someone who does voodoo, like a seer, you know,
Mhm.
because this was like in the 1800s, and of course Africans were coming in here, brought in here as enslaved, and they came
Yeah.
in, some people came in with voodoo and everything, you know, the history and all of that. She was like, but this person has his powers, um and I want you to play the part. I want you to bring yourself to the role. And then I saw the
Mm.
character, and the name was Perry. Just I'm like, um, would you allow me in reinvent this character? He said, that's why I want you. That's why I'm telling you a year before we film that I want you to bring this thing. I'm like, okay, cool. And then both of us, she allows me. I go and I find this man who was one of the last enslaved Africans that came into the US. His name is Oluwale Louis from Benin Republic. And I
Mhm.
go him and I research him and I use him and I renamed from Perry, which we changed the name to Oluwale Louis. And he's a Benin guy. I had to go learn the Benin accent and the language.
Mm.
And that's what I brought into the character. And that made me realize, I'm like, you see, this is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be this way. You tell stories, and you don't really have to tell stories about black people, pink, red, anything. No. But when you make films that involve a space, just know that in this space, all kinds of people exist in this space, and it is okay
Yeah.
to talk about them. It is okay to bring them in. It is okay to represent them in your story because they are here.
Yeah.
So that's what she did, and I was like, her name is Kat Dale, amazing filmmaker, and she allowed me to do that, and that was the first time in in Montana that I ever felt seen.
Seen. Yeah.
To
Mhm.
be honest with you, I mean, I felt seen by my work, but it's my work. Nobody wants to always do their work. You want to do other people's work sometimes.
Mhm.
So when I did that project, I felt very seen. I was like, oh yes, fine, and that just opened the doors for me. Ever since that film, oh my god, I've done theater, I've done work where I go to speak. I've just been doing things. I'm
Mm.
just the one. I'm not even available anymore these days because if I was around, I
Mm.
would be doing so many things. Because that opened,
Yeah.
and then after me, I started seeing lots of black people on stage. I'm like, where have you guys been all this while? Like, what is happening? And
Mm.
then I even get to like say, you know what, I can't do this role. I think he can do it. Let him do it. And then he does it. And then right now I can count like maybe two, three black guys who have acted. I've done theater with one of the other black guy. One of the black guys are coming. I'm gonna make a short film in April by God's grace. I'm gonna bring in two other black guys. That's what and it's I'm so happy. You have no idea. Like when I look back, even it almost makes me want to even like shed a tear because I know I looked for such spaces of people
Yeah.
to tell me, I get you, I understand, I didn't see anybody at that time. So now somebody gets to tell me, oh my gosh, I read about you, and I don't want to get emotional right now. I read about you, and just seeing what you're doing, makes me feel, oh my gosh.
Aw,
I
no.
don't honestly. It's yeah,
It's
because I know what
nice.
I know
Yeah.
you know how I'll just be like in the room and I'll just be sad. But like I don't want to leave. I don't want to go to LA. I don't want to go to anywhere. I want to
Yeah.
stay here and
Yeah.
do this work. But it's
Yeah.
really hard. And many people think I choose to make films in Montana because it's easy. It's not easy.
It's
It is
not. Yeah.
hard.
It
You
probably
think because
isn't.
I want to go there, I want to be the superstar, the only person, the only nah. That's hard. Because you go to do work, you're trying to. People are looking at you like, oh, okay, let me see what you're going to do. And you do this work, you don't have people around you to get it, and people are looking at
Mm.
you as like the thing that they're going to use to judge every other black work that they come across. That's crazy,
Yeah.
I can go to LA and go and make films in LA and make anything and hustle and all of that. That's easy. But if you make a project in Montana as a black filmmaker, where you're the only person, and you get to prove yourself to other people who don't, who maybe are not used to your kind of work, and then they get to see you do the work, and then they see your
Mm.
work, and then they're like, wow, that's something, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so yeah, so that's just like how and I'm very in another way. I'm also very thankful to Montana as a place for like being very cinematically flexible for
Right.
me to come and tell a story
You.
where I can have a Nigerian character, I can have a Black American character, an Haitian character, and we can all coexist in this space, and it looks real. It doesn't look like I just slapped people across over this background. No, it feels like they exist in this space. It is a blessing that I don't take for granted. Again, it just reminds me that I'm on a spiritual journey that I don't even know what I'm doing sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's just um
Yeah, that's
that's what
so
it is, man.
cool.
Yeah.
I love that, Numdi. Like, cause I feel like cause like, for a minute I was thinking like as devil's advocate, like a
Yeah.
lot of people say like it is so difficult being an actor, wanting to be a filmmaker in
Mhm.
LA and New York because there's just so many of us,
Mhm.
or so
Yeah.
many of them. But they'd say, oh, it's so easy then for you, Numdi, like being in
Yeah.
Montana because you're like
Yeah.
the main special one. You're not. But yeah, no, I think it's great that you've been able to be that spark for someone else, to be
Mhm.
honest,
Yeah.
like for them to
Yeah.
be able to see you. You've
Mhm.
have had all these other sparks in your life to be able to propel you to all these other trajectories, but like for them, you've been that for them, and have shown them. That's why representation is so important,
Oh my God.
it's so important, so
Yeah.
important.
Yes. 100%. 100%.
Yeah. Well, I would love to talk more about like, the Hail Mary, the one that like the film that you wrote and produced. And I noticed that you made it in 2020, right? Like during the pandemic. Uh
Yes.
yeah, like how was that? Like how did you decide to create something during such an uncertain time,
I know. I know. Even me, see, when I tell you sometimes, like, when I do something, I'm like, Namdi, what are you doing? This is just crazy.
Yeah.
Um, that film, honestly, oh my gosh, I don't want to like. I'm already like in the like trying to like. I don't like.
Yeah, putting yourself back there. You're so theater. You're
Yes, it
giving
is.
Can I just say like
Yeah,
I'm a theater kid.
yeah.
um and I can your personality just gives such theater.
Oh
I
no,
love it.
I'm so theatrical. Like I'm a
I
theater,
love it.
which is funny because I don't even like theater like that. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am so theater.
Personality
Like
wise.
yes, I am very
Hmm.
much theatrical. Like I can't even like help myself. But yeah, man, really, like I'm trying so hard not to like shed tears because
Hmm.
it's really like very very like it's it's so grounded in my core that
Right.
like so many things happened that period. Like a lot of things happened to me that period. That's
Yeah.
why the Hail Mary would always be one of my. It will always be like a springboard to me for
Hmm.
my career because despite what I went through, it just reminded me of the fact that I have a voice that people want to hear, a voice that people
Yeah.
need to hear, and a
Yeah.
voice that people will hear. Yeah. I mean, I started writing Hail Mary in 2019, like I told
Yeah.
you, and of course, 2019, nobody knew it was going to be a pandemic.
Yeah.
So and then I said I was going to make the film in 2020. I knew I was going to make it in 2020, and then when pandemic happened, I was like, oh my gosh, Jesus Christ, I don't even know if this is going to happen. But guess
Hmm.
what? I was still writing. I was casting. I had done my
Hmm.
casting in March,
Wow.
April. Yes, I cast in April. I was doing production plans, and everybody was like, "Are you crazy? It's a pandemic." I'm like, "I know, but I'm gonna make this film. I don't know. I don't know what
Yeah.
you are talking about. Maybe it's Nigerian in me that is like." Then I lost my dad. My
Oh,
dad, my dad passed away.
I'm
Um.
sorry. I'm so
Oh
sorry
yeah,
for
of
your loss.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. The film then shifted and became about the father and the son because my dad passed away. He just started making me think of like what the things that I could have. I wish I had time to do because we didn't really have the
Hmm.
best of relationships. And I thought I had time, and when he passed away, I knew that okay, I would never get the time that I needed to
Yeah.
be the one to like reach out to him and just like ask him just to get to know him really better. So the Hail
Hmm.
Mary basically was about like a son and a father and a son trying to like get there and get that get their to work on this severe relationship before it's too late. And so I said, you know what, this now it is going to happen because I need to find a way to deal with this thing I'm going through.
Right.
So I
Hmm.
started putting things together, and everyone was like, "Are you sure it's a pandemic?" I'm like, "No problem. We're going to make it happen." Thankfully, June, July, things started. May things started going a little bit, and then George Floyd happened. I'm like, "Oh my God, is it going to get
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
It's
Hmm.
gonna get worse. But I said, you know what? I said, you know what? These things are happening. It tells me that I'm gonna make this film because I think this film is needed, especially in Montana. It's needed. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to try my best to make it happen. And so I said I kept on working towards. I didn't even behave like it was a pandemic. I was casting. I had a GoFundMe. I was raising money, crowdfunding, saving money, and I was working, securing location, getting things, getting everything together. And thankfully, in June, things sort of like settled down a little and we had a face mask and everything. I said, okay, cool. And then the big question came, where do I find black actors to make this film? I said,
Mm.
now this is a problem. So I start to travel everywhere in Montana from place to place looking for anybody. Are you black? You cannot act, don't worry, just come. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. This film will happen by fire by force. And then for the two lead actors, I had to go get actors from like New York and Philadelphia because I wanted people that can actually act to play the two leads for the father and the son. But every other
Hmm.
person was just everybody in Montana. I just picked everybody, every friend, family, everybody, brought them together, and we came as a family. We made that film. It
Love
was,
it. Yeah.
we all had our masks on, observed our quarantine. Everybody was like checked our temperature. Everything was okay, but we all came together, and we all came together on the grounds that on that ground of the fact that we knew that we needed to make this film because it was needed, not
Yeah.
for us and for Montana as a whole. And when I tell you when the news dropped for that project, it was insane. I was just like, wow, you know. So yeah, that's how we made Hail Mary during the pandemic, and yeah, it was great. It was an amazing time. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it was definitely one of those like moments where you needed it to help you
Yes.
heal
Yes.
through what you were already going on in your own
Yeah.
personal life, and it
Yeah.
kind of was something that could keep you going. So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely commend that. My father passed away in the same year as well, so
Oh
I
really?
totally understand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely one of those years where you're like thinking about it. I love that you were able though to like use your creative passions to
Mm-hmm.
be able to like get through such a hard
Mm-hmm.
time. For me, I didn't have that opportunity, but
Mm-hmm.
I very much commend you for even being able to create something so special as that, especially for Montana.
Yeah.
Like how do you feel like the community responded to the film? Like, obviously, like, because you said like it was monumental for you
Yeah.
in that
Mm-hmm.
year.
Mm-hmm.
And especially it seemed like especially it was all black lead, like all black cast and
Mm-hmm.
worker, like it just seemed like there was so much going on and you brought like
Yeah.
such a big family together.
Yeah.
But how do you think like the like other people within Montana received the film?
Oh yeah. It was. I remember. I remember reaching out. I was reached out to by a news channel, and they
Mm.
wanted to do a story, and that was the first. That wasn't the first time actually. I've been on TV. I've been on TV before, but
Okay.
they reached out to me. I was on TV like a year. That's the same year actually, when we did the first ever African event in Montana history.
Hmm.
I and somebody organized it. But anyway, they reached out to me and they were like, "Oh, we want to do a story of for your project." I'm like, "Oh wow, really? Okay, cool." And then I remember I will never forget the headline. It was Bozeman filmmaker breaks barriers. Breaks
Oh.
barriers, yeah. Producing the first all black lead cast film in Montana history. Oh my gosh. When that news came out,
Oh, does it like take you back?
I know, yeah, I'm going like on that very moment when I went the new when I got the when the news aired on TV. Everybody was at home. Nobody was working. It was pandemic. Everybody was in the house. You watched the news. Oh, my phone was buzzing. Everybody like, oh my, you did a film, really? Oh my
No.
god. Then people just send me DMs and everything, and all of that. I was just like, wow, and then that's when I realized. I said, okay, now I know why I'm here. And I did a premiere for the film, um, the following year during Black History Month,
Mm-hmm.
and it was and the university, Montana State University, had organized the premiere, and it was everybody watched.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's great.
I still have like screenshots, like people sending me messages on the premiere day. So I have like screenshots that I have of everybody who sent me text, and I just like once in a while I just go back
Oh,
and I look at it. I'm just like, wow, you know. So yeah, that was very it was an amazing time. You know, I also did a physical premiere, a live premiere. People came in, pandemic. You know, it was just
it was
insane.
hard with the pandemic, yeah.
Yes, it was hard, but people just still showed up. I was like, whoa, okay. And then
Because
the
people
one,
like we're
you know.
tired probably of staying inside their homes.
I know that too. Like they wanted to go out and go see something, you know. But that was just
Hmm.
like it just reminded me of the fact that like again, like it just tells me that you know, even you know, as creative people, sometimes when we don't see when we don't see I mean we see the big picture, right? But sometimes the picture is not very clear. It's very faded. Like we don't
Yeah.
see all of the paints and the structure. We see the template, but we don't see the actual structure. We don't know what it looks like. So you know, in that moment when you don't know what the big picture really looks like, you know, it can be very frustrating. And then you forget the moments when things were okay. You just drown yourself in this endless moment of like doubts and you know pain and not knowing what the future holds and stuff like that. You know, but for me, in that moment when I don't really, I'm not sure what exactly I'm supposed to do with myself. I still go back to those times when I had the springboard, which is making the Hail Mary, and I'm like, you know what, it's gonna happen. And I also go even back to when I said
Hmm.
I'm gonna win an Oscar. I'm gonna be the
Yes.
first Nigerian born and bred to win an Oscar. And I told
Yep.
myself, if you don't keep pushing, how will you win this Oscar? If you don't keep making films, if you don't keep fighting, don't forget the dream you had though. Don't forget you told yourself years ago that you're gonna don't forget you have an Oscar speech to give, or don't forget you're gonna climb the stage and give a speech. Don't forget, if you don't push, if you don't do this, if you don't keep making films, how would you win the Oscar? So don't forget,
Hmm.
that's what I just go back to this moment, and I when I go back there, I remember I keep firing, I keep going, I keep working hard,
Yeah.
keep pushing, because I have a plan, and my plan is to hold my mom like this, and my Montana
Oh.
mom, my two moms, my biological mom, my Montana mom, and we're working there, and they are going to go. So if I don't keep fighting and keep pushing hard, I would never achieve this dream that I have. So I remember one of my professors that believes so much in me. He says that he's going to be the one to drive me to my first ever Sundance Film Festival, or
Oh.
my first ever Oscar, or whatever it is that I'm doing. I'm going to any award, anything I'm going to do, he's going to drive me to that place. And I'm like, if I don't keep fighting, how would I allow this man who believes so much in me to drive me in his car for this thing? So I have to keep doing, you know.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, that's what you know. These moments, you know, just remind me. They help me, you know. They bring me, they bring me back, and they put me in focus. You know, they help me stay focused whenever the doubts of life, you know, start to creep in, you know, to consume me. You know, I remember what's in the future, and you know, I stay grounded. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love that. I really do. Like, I love that. It's so funny. I love how you said Montana mom and your biological mom and your
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so many moms.
Oh, I have three
Oh,
moms actually. My biological mom, my
mm-hmm.
school mom, and then my Montana mom. So there's three moms. So yeah, they're gonna all
Oh.
be there with me like this. My mom is gonna be here, of course, holding me like this. Then my two other moms will be here. My mother will be the Nigerian one, of course, will take charge because she's not sharing anything
Yes,
much of
she's not gonna
anybody.
share.
She's not gonna share anybody. But yeah, we're all gonna be
But
there. So
but also like technically besides even because I love the manifesting. I love
yeah.
that you're putting it out there. You're like,
Mhm.
I'm making my Oscar speech. I know what it's gonna sound like. I know what it's
Yeah.
gonna be when it happens. Like I love it. Like you're putting it out there because that's
Mhm.
what everyone has to do. Like I
Yeah.
literally need to, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yes.
And yes, and inshallah, as we say in my
Yes. Inshallah. Yes.
inshallah,
Yes.
it
Inshallah.
will happen.
Yeah, oh yeah, it will
In
happen.
Arab.
You're gonna let me tell you what you're gonna do. You're gonna text me when that happens. You're gonna be like,
Mhm.
oh, remember
Yeah,
now this,
remember?
and you're gonna post this clip from this interview
I
when that
will.
happens. You're gonna put it out there. You're gonna be like, this is what we talked about this
Mm-hmm.
year, and now it's happening. That's what's gonna happen. So yeah.
110%. That's yes, I love it. I
Yes.
love it.
Yes. Yes.
Um, But it's so interesting because what I'm thinking, wouldn't it
Mhm.
be funny though if like, you have your Oscar speech for your the directorial debut,
Mhm.
but what if you're also an actor? You're like a writer and an
See, let me
actor.
tell you.
Wouldn't it be funny if you actually got your Oscar, like your first Oscar as an actor
Let me
instead?
tell you. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Like honestly, I really again, what I'm trying to actively do is not to not to um create what that would look like.
Mm,
What the category will look like. Because
it's
that's
more just
God.
the
That's
Oscar.
God. That's the work of God. That's what God's gonna do. God knows
Hmm.
what I'm gonna win. I know I'm gonna win for sure. I don't know what category it's gonna be.
I
So it's
love it.
it's, it's God's work to create what I'm gonna win for. It could be
Hmm.
for a short film. It could be as an actor. It could be for
Hmm.
screenplay.
That's true.
It could
That's
be
true.
for best picture. It could be for anything. I don't even know. All I know
Whichever
is I'm
Oscar.
gonna get an Oscar. They're gonna call me, and the Oscar goes to. They call my film name, and I'm gonna climb that stage. I'm gonna say my speech. I'm gonna come down. I'm gonna be like, oh, what did that mean for? Oh, okay, best actor. Oh, best short film. Oh, okay, best director. Oh, screenplay. Oh, I don't know, but it's. I always think about that too. I'm like, what if I just get, just get a role? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it is,
I
but I
love
know.
it. No, no, no. I
No.
totally get it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That
I know
makes sense. Because
I'm
I
gonna
think
climb that. Yeah,
I kept thinking in the more the filmmaking.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
like I realized you could also writing, acting. Yeah, it could
yeah,
be any one of those.
yeah. Oh
Like
yeah, for sure.
do you feel like those different roles have influenced the way you like approach storytelling in that way? Like obviously, like when you're writing, do you put
Mhm.
yourself, for example, in the character? Like you act like like people when
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
writing, sometimes
Mhm.
they like
You
act it
say,
out.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh definitely
Okay,
for sure.
that makes sense.
If the voices don't speak to you, it's not gonna make sense. For
Yeah.
me, I think, but there's been a switch recently, because again, like I said, I used to have this desperation for like acting. Like I wanted to be an actor so bad. It was
Mm,
acting or nothing. And then when I realized that, acting is not easy. You don't get roles every time. Even if you audition for role, I don't. Last time I auditioned was like 3 years ago. I just recently did
mm,
one this year. So let me just try, and I've been trying here and there, but I stopped actively auditioning for roles because I'm like, you know what? I believe so much in the fact that I have so much faith in things coming to you. I don't know where that comes from. I just believe so much in the fact that I'm gonna get a call one day randomly, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, I saw you somewhere, and I want to talk to you about this role," and
yeah.
then end up getting the role, and I'm just gonna do it, and that's what it's gonna be. I don't know where that comes from, but that's how I feel. Like I'm gonna get a role that's specially created for me. But going back to what you asked, before I used to like write like Hail Mary. I wrote a role for myself particularly because it came
Yeah.
from a point where I wanted to prove that I can write for myself and give myself. I know me. I know what I can do, so I can write roles that I can do and do well. So that's where Hail Mary came from. And when I'm writing the roles, and the story is very much personal to me too. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying the lines, I'm reading the characters, I'm seeing them visually, I'm looking at them, building them break by break. So that's what I used to do. So, and also like voice the roles and everything. But recently, I sort of like started seeing myself not writing with myself in mind. I don't write for myself anymore. I
Yeah.
write for the characters. So what I
Mm,
do instead is I imagine actors that I would like to work with. So I write with them in mind. So when I'm writing, I'm picturing them playing the part. That's what I do now. Before
gotcha.
it was me doing actively doing these voices, but now I just think of who I want to work with. And because now there's a feature length film that I've been writing. This is that's gonna be my second feature film, and I just have two people I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about what's his name? What's this guy that did? Have you seen Exhibiting Forgiveness?
No. What's that
What
one?
about Moonlight?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The light skinned guy towards the end, the older one.
Mm. Okay,
That
okay.
I can't remember his name. Okay,
Yeah, I can't remember his name either, but I know who you're talking about.
Yes, Andre Holland.
Yes, yes.
He's the one that I imagined for this role.
Okay.
Him or Jeremy Pope. So
Oh, okay.
I've been writing this character with these two people in my mind. I'm like,
Oh,
this is who
yes.
I want to work with. So I've been writing
Yeah.
with them in mind, their body language, the
Mhm.
mannerisms and how they act, stuff like that. So that's what I do. So now, I'm working with, and I'm like, God, please, when that time comes, give me these people as actors because I have
Oh,
written in
yeah.
for them in mind. But that's what I'm
Mhm.
to your question. That I write with now. I write with the actors that I want to work with. I imagine them. I spend time just thinking about them. And whenever
Yeah.
if I have a scene that I've written down, if I have a scene that I've put down, I think about that scene and I imagine them playing that scene and imagine them acting that scene, and then I look at what I've written. If it's the same thing, I'm good. But if something else comes up from what I've imagined, I put it down in the script. So that's my bit of my writing process when it comes to like, because I write character driven stories basically. So my,
Okay.
my characters are very important. Like I have to have like strong characters, and I have to have actors that are attached to those characters in my head. So yeah.
Well, that's what leads the story, you know? So
Oh
like
yeah.
that makes total sense. It
Oh yeah.
honestly can make such a big difference.
Oh yeah.
Um
Oh yeah.
like
Definitely.
well, and like honestly you're already talking about it actually, so
Mhm.
which is great. So like one of the few last questions is like what kind of stories are you most excited to tell next? And where do you hope your work start like reaches, you know? Like obviously the Oscar, we get that. I
Yeah.
get
Oh
that
yeah.
part.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm manifesting it for you as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um but like you just mentioned like one of the projects that you're like right now writing, and those two actors that you would love to have, like is there anything else that you're trying to work on?
Oh yeah, definitely. So I have like I did my first feature film, full length feature last
Mhm.
year. No, yeah, last year actually. It's called Water Girl. No, actually 2 years ago, 2024.
Mhm.
Yes, I filmed 2024 in Montana. It's called Water Girl. So it's based off like folk. I adapted a folklore. So that's like for that one, I wanted to explore folkloric storytelling, right? And
Mm.
how how to have that intersection between folklore and the Western space. So Water Girl was basically just like me marrying, African folklore with this Western space, which is Montana. So I did that already. So
Yeah.
now I am currently on what I call a grief journey. I'm trying to
Mm.
understand what grief really is,
Okay.
I had lost my younger brother in 2014, and then my dad.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry. Yeah.
each
Yeah.
so each loss came with its own grief. And not until last year, where I lost a friend, that I started trying to understand, like, what is grief? What really is grief? Like, and how it affects us as individuals, and not only individuals, as us carrying this grief with us. And how do you
Mhm.
grieve? Like, how long can you grieve? Is there a
Yeah.
time limit for grief? Is there a
Mhm.
time where you're like, okay, I'm done grieving? Does that work?
Mm.
So many questions I'm trying to like understand. So I started working on a feature film. It's gonna be like a new take on Western. It's not gonna be like the stereotypical Western that we know, but it's gonna be a new. They call it new Western. So it's like a new Western,
Yeah.
set in Montana, but it's about a man, going through grief and trying to like understand how grief affects his life in this new town that he moved to. So that's my second feature that I'm working on right now. The script, I'm currently on my sixth draft, I guess.
Okay.
But
Wow.
while working on that, I said, you know what? I don't want to jump on another feature film real fast. I need to like
Mhm.
try myself to see if to understand what I want to get out of this feature film, and I want to really understand. I want to also like understand what grief really is,
Yeah.
brick by brick before I get to that big feature, that big level. So
Yeah.
I started working on another short film because I mean
Mm.
short films are the best ways to learn, filmmaking. I mean that's the best film school if you ask me. So I
Mhm.
started working on my short film. It's called The Last Big Sky, and I'm going to be filming by God's grace in April in Montana, in a small
Oh,
city called
great.
Dillon, Montana.
Yeah.
And it's also about like a mother and a son, and how she goes to, bury her son, from Nigeria. So
Wow.
so that's basically like me sort of like taking from my mom when I lost my brother, how she dealt with that loss, and just like changing it a
Turning it.
little bit,
Mm-hmm.
to this woman who is white
Yeah.
but married to a Nigerian man. She's lived all her life in Nigeria, and her son is in America. But then she goes to America to to bury her son, which is funny because she's American and she has to go to America to bury her Nigerian son. So that's the story, and
Wow.
it's a short film that is very deep, very immersive, and it's very much. I'm not explaining grief. I'm not explaining death, but I'm trying to understand what grief really is through this woman's lens,
Yeah.
which is my mom, basically. So that's what I'm working on right now. I have the draft ready. I'm putting together to finance, raise money, and in April I'm gonna go to Montana Film, and hopefully get it together for festival season next year. So yeah, that's what I'm working on.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah, that's
I
that's
was
what
just,
yeah.
yeah, no, and I wonder, like, I was just thinking, because I know, like, grief is grief, and
Yeah.
obviously, I personally don't think there's any
Hmm.
definition, like, it's really
Hmm.
difficult. And I was
Yeah.
wondering, like, what research are you doing for her, like, for that specific character? Because I know
Oh yeah.
you're using your own self, of course, but
Hmm.
with females, I
Yeah.
feel like with males and females, we
Oh
tend
yeah.
to deal with grief in different ways. So I was
Uh-huh.
just
Uh-huh.
wondering.
Oh yeah, definitely for sure. And someone from like this, I like working with female actors. Like
Mhm.
there's so much power. And one thing that me as a director, one thing I always do is I would never put myself in a space that women need to be allowed to experience themselves. So
Yeah.
even when I'm directing a woman, it's more so me just like pointing the torch, like, okay, that's the
Yeah.
road, this is how you're gonna go, as
Yeah.
opposed to like telling you, oh, this is what I want you to do, come follow me. No, I'm very particular about that. With my
Mhm.
my film Water Girl, it was female lead. I made sure that this, from the storytelling down to the for final point of the script, it was from a woman's perspective, and I
Yes.
also went ahead to have a woman edit the film
Oh, okay.
because I
That's
wanted, yeah, because
great.
I just know where I'm gonna, it's not gonna be from my perspective, So I
Yeah.
had a woman do the first cut, and then I just put other things together. But the story was put together by female because I wanted that
Love
woman to
that.
be the one to have that perspective. So I already
Yeah.
have, I'm already like used to that kind of work already.
Process.
So
Yeah.
for this
Mhm.
one particularly, what I'm doing is, and thankfully the actor I'm working with, she is heavy on preparation. She's so much heavy on like getting the groundwork done before the film is made or filmed.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of I have first of all I have like someone who has lived that life, a white lady who's married to a Nigerian man, living in Nigeria for like 20 years, who has that
Mhm.
experience already, have that one on one with her. So that's already like a first hand experience of a woman who's living the life, giving her the experience herself. Then I also like plan to, have my mom just talk about herself, even though
Mhm.
I'm like scared about that because I don't want her to like relive that experience. But I feel like it's going to be very helpful for her to give this actor what she needs. We already have like videos and stuff that she's already watching and looking at it,
That's
mostly,
good.
and
Mhm.
everything's all from a female perspective, not from my
Mhm.
perspective. That would help her. She particularly, Missy told me, I will never forget. She was like, "I need. Can you give me something to watch specifically from a woman?" I'm
Mm.
like, thank you for saying that because I was going to do that already, but you just letting me know means that you value this character and you want it to come from the best resources that that I can as possible for you to be able to be this character. So I really appreciated the fact that she was already asking me to give her a woman's perspective. So we're doing that work already. I have her outfit designed by a stylist who only designs women outfit. I'm
Mhm.
just doing all these things because I want it to all be like, I want it to be very strong, grounded in this woman that I'm trying to create. I want every resource I'm going to create to be as authentic as possible, because I always say this thing and I want everybody to see to say it to, you know, we all say representation matters, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I go further to say, you know, authentic
Yeah.
representation matters most. Because you cannot represent, like me, for me now, having people bringing in my projects, I'm having some kind of representation. But is it authentic? That's the question.
Mhm.
So it's not enough to have, oh, we have black actors, white actors, Asian actors in this film. No, are they authentic?
Yeah.
That's the question. So for me, I I go I take a step further to ensure that my characters are authentic as possible. I don't want you to watch this woman in the film and be like, she's just saying those words. No, she's
Yeah.
leaving those words, and I'm going to do everything possible to ensure that she brings the character to life as lived in as possible. So yeah, I'm doing so much work.
Absolutely.
I'm going even further, as even using AI to design her as a young woman, putting her in Nigeria, showing, okay, this is you in Nigeria. She's seen herself
Mhm.
in. I'm like, it's creepy, but okay, I get it. I get it. I said, I know it's creepy, but I want you to look at this picture, and let your psyche already like start to
Just
transform.
thinking, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yourself, make yourself feel like you lived in Nigeria for 20 years. Seeing that picture, I aged the picture. I took a picture of her, aged it, took it back in Nigeria, put some things around and made it look like it was filmed in 2002. And she's like, oh my god, this is crazy. I'm like, I know it's crazy, but let that sink in your head for you to know that
Mhm.
this is where your character had lived for 20 years. So
Yes,
I'm
yes.
going, with this one. I want people to see this one and see. I would say the real Nnamdi Kanaga, because I'm very much avant-garde. I
Yeah.
like I like unconventional storytelling. I like unconventional cinematography, and that's what you're going to see with this film. You're not going to see the usual camera work. It's going to be very different from like everything I've done before. So this is
Mhm.
something I want people to know. I don't want to be boxed by people. So I'm doing this film to let people know that, okay, there's so much that I can do. As an auteur filmmaker that I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be a very basic. This is going to be a very very beautiful film. So yeah, it's going to be
That's
good.
great. That's so great. Thank you so much for offering that that information on the
Yeah,
process and what you're
yeah.
doing,
Oh,
especially to make sure that it's so authentic,
of course.
because that's real, and I feel
Yes.
like the beauty of filmmaking is that you're literally able to transport and make
Mm-hmm.
these characters and they feel real to us who are
Yes. Yeah.
watching, and
Yeah.
like for us it's like, oh yeah, she obviously lived in Nigeria for 20
Mm-hmm.
years, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
because our brains are literally like already putting in all
Yes.
those other extra things to make
Yes.
us feel like it's a real story,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which
Yes.
is great. And
Yes.
going actually off from that,
Yeah.
the last question that I usually love to ask is, as you know, Kweli means truth in
Mm-hmm.
Swahili.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I know you definitely like already spoke about this a little bit through the
Mm-hmm.
conversation, but
Mm-hmm.
I would love to know, like, what does truth mean to you? And how do you bring authenticity as
Yeah.
a creator? I feel like you've said a few, so you don't have to like go too much because you've already actually
No, no,
spoke
no, no.
about
I'm
it a
just,
little. But if there's
yeah.
anything different.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, definitely. Truth for me, even I'll go off of like as a storyteller. Truth is me, actually.
Mm.
It's
Mhm.
me. It's how truthful am I with what I'm telling, what I'm writing? How much of myself am I giving? How much of myself
Mm.
am I able to bear to people, to my audience, for these stories to become come alive? And the answer is, I give my all. I open up myself to my in my stories so much that it feels very real to people. And when people tell me, "Oh my gosh, this feels so real," I'm like, it's real because it's true.
Yeah.
It's me. Everything I'm going to be making in my lifetime is going to be from me. Any
Yeah.
film I'm going to make, any film that's going to have written and directed by Nnamdi Kanaga would always come from me, because I feel like my best work are the works that I write that comes from my soul, from my truth. The world is already so difficult, and I've been through so much in my lifetime.
Yeah.
I don't want to go down the drain whereby I transfer all of these things that I'm dealing with in my life to other things. I would
Mhm.
rather pour it all in my work and be
Yeah.
as honest as possible, you know, to my work. I may not come out and tell you what I'm going through my mouth and maybe cry and be all sad, but when you watch my films, you're going to be able to know that there's so much that I'm trying to tell people. So yeah, so truth to me is me being truthful to myself in a way that my stories are able to live in their very, very true, authentic self. So yeah,
Yeah.
so everything I'm going to be doing, when you watch my films, I might not tell you the truth in real life, but I will tell the truth in films for sure. You're going to see my movies and you're going to know that this is real, this is real, for real, for real. And I think I started doing that with Hail Mary. With Water
Mhm.
Girl, was just a bit more, folklore and everything. But with the last Big Sky, that's whatever you're going to see from that film is going to be as raw, as visceral, as gritty, as authentic as possible, because I
Yeah.
really allowed myself. I went back in those moments when I went through what I went through, and I allowed my characters live those experiences. So
Yeah.
much so that even when I watch them, I know I'm going to bawl my eyes out when I'm watching this thing, because
Mm.
it is as truthful as it can be, because it's from me. And also it's I mean, what else can I do? I don't have any other choice than to allow this outlet live and breathe. So yeah, so that's truth for me in a nutshell. It's me be me, allowing myself, being okay with bearing myself to the world through my
Yeah.
stories and my characters, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. And thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously you've already shared, and I'm super excited. I definitely I will be waiting, and hopefully I love the manifesting to see like how your film goes, like the next one. And I don't know if you said if the Water Girl, or what was it?
Water Girl,
Yeah,
yeah.
Water Girl. Okay. And
Mhm.
like if that one has been out yet already, like can people
It's
find
not
that?
yeah. I
Oh,
was
okay,
gonna I
okay.
was gonna reach out to Deshaun. I'll be like, hey girl,
Yay!
I
Yeah,
got a
hey!
project.
Mhm.
Let's talk about that. I know, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I'm trying to like put everything together, and once
Okay.
I'm, yeah. Oh yeah, I'm
No, oh my
definitely.
gosh. Let
I
us
think I
know.
sent
We
an
are
email
here.
even before the
We'll take it.
so yeah. I'm gonna be like, hey, I have this thing I want to put out there. Let's work. Let's put it out there and give it a house, give it a home. So yeah, definitely for sure. I really like the Hail Mary being in kweliTV. I love being able to receive those monthly checks. Every now and then. I
Got
know,
you. I
but I
got
know,
you. No,
I know, I know. But like, yeah,
no, I can't wait to see Water Girl, and I can't wait
yeah.
to see your other project that you have developing now.
Yeah. Thank
Definitely excited for you as a filmmaker, as a
you. Mhm,
storyteller, as an
mhm.
actor. You're doing
Yeah,
such amazing things.
thank you.
And
Appreciate it.
I feel like it's gonna be received well on all fronts.
Amen. Amen.
You've already talked about obviously what you're doing as a future as a
Mhm,
filmmaker,
mhm.
and super appreciative of that.
Thank you.
Last thing we would love to do is like, where can people find you? If they want to like follow your journey, both as a filmmaker
Oh
and
yeah.
actor. Yeah.
Yeah, you keep bringing the actor part.
I love it
um,
because I love that
I
you're also
know,
an actor.
I know.
Because you're
Yeah,
like one of the main ones. I feel like out of all the people I've spoken to, like you're actually like also an actor. So
I
I
am.
feel like
Yeah,
that's
of
such an
course.
interesting, yeah.
Yeah. And thank you for. I think one thing I want to appreciate you for is thank you for actually reminding me that I'm an actor. Sometimes I
Yeah.
forget about it because I'm so drowned in writing,
The
and I've been
filming
so
and the writing,
frustrated.
yeah.
I've been so frustrated with not getting roles and this and that. You know what? I forget I can't even do the work. So by telling me you're an actor, okay, I'm like, okay, yeah, I think I really am an actor.
Yes, you are.
Yes,
You
I
really
am
are.
an actor.
Even
So
in your writing and your
yeah.
filmmaking, you can
Mhm.
tell you have an actor's brain.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
good.
People tell me that I'm an actor's director, and yeah, because I'm able to do that because I know what it feels like. But yeah, I know one day I'm gonna be on people's screens. One day it's gonna come. But anyway,
Yes. I can't wait
yeah,
to see it.
it's gonna come. It's gonna come. Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. But yeah, definitely. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm on Instagram. It's the Nnamdi Kanaga, because there's no other person like me ever.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yep.
that's so funny. But
He's
yeah,
like, I'm the
it's
one
fun.
and only.
I'm the one and only. Yeah, I was gonna put the one and only. Like, nah, that's too much now. Come on, now, that's too much. So it's the Nnamdi Kanaga on Instagram. I'm on Twitter at Nnamdi Kanaga. I'm on Facebook, Nnamdi Kanaga. Yeah, and yeah, I'm mostly on Instagram because that's where we put our work out there, obviously. But yeah, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, every now and then I'm there.
Got
And
you.
Twitter. Tweet one once in a while. I think it's called X now, right? Okay, yeah, X.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but Instagram, Nnamdi Kanaga, yeah, I'm there.
Yeah. And last
There's
thing,
nobody else.
oh, I love it. There is nobody else, to be honest.
Nobody
Like
else.
I'm
Yeah,
about to use that too. Like there is no
yeah.
the
There's
Isa
nobody
Tuba. Like
else.
about to,
Don't even
but
search too
like
hard.
we didn't get to really talk too much about your production company because you
Yeah.
mentioned it a little bit. Does
Yeah.
your production company also have like a website, or do you have like any socials for that
Yeah,
for
yeah,
that one?
yes, yeah. So yeah, if you go on Instagram and you put on Naquilia Productions, yeah, it's also a website too, Naquilia Productions. N apostrophe AQUILIA Productions LLC. You see the website, see Instagram. See what we're doing, our work, and it's just me for now and one other person, but hopefully it's gonna grow. But yeah, we're just
Girl. Mm-hmm.
we're putting the movies out there, the writing, trying to put ourselves out there. But yeah, it's a process. But yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. The plan is to eventually have it as a company where we can, media company where we can do more indie projects like talent,
Yeah.
recruitment and stuff like that in Montana. But for now, it's just our indie work and everything else we're doing. But yeah, it's coming, it's coming. But yeah,
You're still doing the good
yeah,
work. You're still
yeah.
doing the
Oh
good
yeah,
work. Thank
oh
you
yeah,
so much.
yeah.
I obviously, like I said, can't wait to see everything else that comes through from
Thank
the production company, from yourself in general as
you.
a writer,
Thank you.
actor.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I appreciated speaking with you. This
Thank
has
you
been
so much. Yeah,
so fun, to be
yeah.
honest. You have such a great personality.
I appreciate it.
Like,
Thank you
you're
so much.
very easy to talk to as
Oh,
well.
thank you. Oh,
Um,
thank you so much. Appreciate it.
yeah, but the Guinea, Nigeria, we're West
Hey,
African babes.
hey,
Hey,
hey, clock it.
hey. We get it. We
Oh
get it.
yes,
That's
yes,
why.
yes,
But yeah,
yes.
this has been amazing,
Appreciate
obviously.
it.
And
Thank you.
obviously he already said like where you can find him. So
Hmm.
definitely check him out, and check any like the Hail Mary, which is on kweliTV, and hopefully Water Girl as well, like
Yes,
soon
it's
at
coming.
some
It's coming.
point.
It's
Yeah.
coming. It's coming.
So yeah,
Coming.
thank you so much for
Thank you so
talking
much.
with me.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm Isa too, and this has been the kweliTV podcast. Thank you.